I will freely admit to you that I completely forgot Jose Mourinho was part of Tottenham from 2019 to 2021. Absolutely slipped my mind. Yes, this is a Jose Mourinho at Tottenham tactic. The description basically says, "Hi guys, this is my emulation of Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur 4-2-3-1 tactic. To replicate his Tottenham tactics on FM24, we obviously start with the formation, the classic 4-2-3-1, much loved by the Wizard of Setúbal. Is that how you pronounce it? But the mentality is balanced, but you can use a positive mentality against weaker opponents, while cautious mentality is recommended when facing much stronger teams." Now, there is a huge write up on this. This person definitely did some serious work when it came to this tactic. So, definitely take a look. I mean, it goes player by player on the starting 11 and kind of what their instructions are and how they do it. Their results were 30 wins, 8 draws, 0 losses, 101 goals scored, 20 against. FA Cup winner, Carabao Cup winner, Europa League winner. They did it all. So, there's also a video on that. So, definitely take a look, as I always say. But this one, I'm hoping for some really good marks on this because he did such a great job creating it. But let's dive into the Premier League and see how our teams of Liverpool and Aston Villa did, as well as championship side of Ipswich Town. So let's just jump in and see what happened. Well, unfortunately, it didn't work nearly as well for our two Premier League teams. Third place, Liverpool, 81 points, 76 goals, definitely down from their usual. Aston Villa, they get Europa League next season, but in 10th place with 55 points, 51 goals, is a lot lower than what we've seen in the past. But let's start with Liverpool's domestic cups. Out in the Carabao Cup quarterfinal 2-3 against Arsenal, and out in the FA Cup 5th round in penalties to Manchester United. And unfortunately out in the Europa League round of 16 to Feyenoord. Wow, that 0-4 hurts. So overall, yeah, you got third place for Liverpool, but overall not a good season whatsoever. Squad-wise, I mean, you do have some green, but it's not. It's like within 7-10 for most of them. But goals-wise, 15 is tops for McAllister, 13 for Jota, Salah all the way down with only 11. Assists, 14 for Trent, 9 for Salah. And then average rating, Joe Gomez gets up there, but Andrew Robertson with the big one at 709. So it was like, well, he played a lot off the bench, but still. Now Aston Villa, they got to the Carabao Cup final, beating Arsenal 1-0. They did have a little bit of a scare in the semifinals. Unfortunately, though, they get to the FA Cup 5th round and lose to Norwich 0-2. But another European trophy in the Europa Conference League final, 1-0 over Eintracht Frankfurt. So all in all, I mean, yeah, 10th place. They still get Europa League next season. They won the Conference League. They won the Carabao Cup. I mean, it's definitely a mixed bag here. Squad-wise, yeah, not a lot in the green. I'm not expecting much. 16 goals for Ollie Watkins is tops. 14 for Diaby and Zaniolo. Assists, 11 for McGinn and Matty Cash. And then average rating, Robin Olsen gets up there, but Lucas Digne with a 717. Data Hub, the attacking side is just woeful, and it's sad to see, especially as a highly attacking team such as Liverpool. Defensively, they're covering all the bases, so they're not doing too badly. 0.68 conceded, 0.94 XG against isn't too bad, but a flat 2 goals per game is definitely down from their usual. Aston Villa, yeah, that is really sad to see. They're not covering a lot of the bases when it comes to the attacking side. Defensively, they've got the shutouts, which is nice. But overall, 1.34 goals per game is really low. 1.08 conceded is much better than usual. 1.36 XG against is about average. Well, unfortunately, we are back to this screen. Liverpool in third with points per game at 2.13. Aston Villa all the way down in 10th with 1.45. But the rest of the stats, most goals, Liverpool making the list in third this time with 76. Fewest shots against in second, with 294. Aston Villa all the way down in 8th with 385. Most dribbles made, Liverpool with 725, Villa with 704. They do make the most tackles won, so definitely a much more defensive piece. Aston Villa in first with 950, Liverpool in second with 922, and most shots for Liverpool making the list at a woeful 463. But now this one definitely should be interesting. How did our Ipswich Town do? Well, sadly, 5th place, 81 points, 80 goals is so far lower than what we're expecting, what we're hoping for these days. They made it in the semifinals, but unfortunately losing out in aggregate to Leicester 3-2. Schedule-wise, though, losing out to Manchester City only in penalties, though. That's pretty nice. In the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup, not even getting to the 4th round of the FA Cup, losing immediately 3-4 against Birmingham. So yeah, not the greatest of seasons. And only 3 to show for the green, which is really sad, but You know, what do you expect? 15 goals for George Hurst is the tops, 10 for Caden Jackson, assists 14 for Leif Davis, 9 for Harry Clark, and average rating 717 for Leif Davis. So on to the championship stats. Ipswich in 6th with 1.69 points per game. Most goals all the way down in 7th with 82. Fewest shots against in 4th with 401. Most dribbles made in 4th with 835. And most tackles won in 2nd with 1125. But let's take a quick look at the tactic itself. We start out with a goalkeeper in defend, fullback in support on the left, a complete wingback in attack on the right, central defenders in defend in the central spots, a DM in defend next to a halfback in defend, inside forward in supports on both sides. We got an attacking midfielder in attack in the central area and a complete forward in support up front. Its mark specific position is that DM. So that's a new one. Balanced mentality, in possession, attacking with his fairly narrow, approach plays pass into space, overlap on the right but focus play through the middle, passing directness is slightly more direct, tempo is slightly higher, low crosses, work the ball in the box, run at defense and be more expressive. In transition, regroup, counter, distribute quickly and take long kicks. And out of possession, a mid-block line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press is standard, get stuck in and step up more. So now overall, how did it do for our three teams? Unfortunately, not so well. Ipswich losing out in the semifinals of the playoffs, and that's it for their season. 81 points is definitely low. Liverpool and Aston Villa. I mean, Liverpool, yeah, they make Champions League next season, but they've got a good squad, so they're expected to anyway. Aston Villa all the way down in 10th. Now, the big thing here is not that the tactic didn't perform well. It's that it's made for a specific team. It's made for a Tottenham team that had players back in 2019 to 2021, and it's made for them and them specifically. So, obviously, when you throw in, you know, other players, Aston Villa front line and, you know, Liverpool defense or Ipswich midfield, things are going to change up quite a bit. So definitely keep that in mind. You know, this is one for historical purposes, which is fantastic. And I would try alone on the fact that this dude wrote so much on what each player is doing and what, you know, the whole thing, the whole progression and progress is throughout the tactic. So keep that in mind when you're trying this, or if you tried it. Let us know how it worked for you in the comments below. But this is definitely a point in time as a reference, not necessarily a plug and play for a tactic to win the Champions League. But that's just my little caveat to this whole thing. But that's it for me, Sevian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.